Okay.
Sir, can I ask you a quick question?
So, yes. Yes,
Sir,
please. Okay.
uh, I want to call you for setting up a meeting. When will you be free? Then I will be calling you then.
Yeah, it's fine. You will call me after 2 o'clock. Okay.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Hello, everyone. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Am I loud and clear, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So let me just briefly review the first class, then we'll start today's lecture. Okay. So just it's a review of the first class, very short review. So we started talking about the AI and machine learning. The first thing about the difference between artificial intelligence and machine learning, ML, right? And
Right.
what's the basic difference of AI and machine learning or AI and ML? So AI basically in both cases, in AI and in ML, the machine will perform a task. So this is what actually we want. We want the robot or the machine or the computer will perform a task like a human. Is it clear? It will the machine will act like a human brain. So for artificial intelligence, what we do for performing a task by machine, we set the rules into the machine. So we the expert or humans, they actually extract the rules or find the rules or set the rules, and then by programming we actually instruct machine to perform a task as like a human. Say for example, when we actually play TikTok take or chase with the machine or computer, actually the computer know what will be the next move for our each move. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So that is basically artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence means the machine will automatically perform a task without help of any other human or any other machine. Is it clear?
Clear, sir.
But
Yes,
for
sir.
machine learning, the rules will be extracted by the machine. So if you look the definition by Tom, so we already discussed in our first class. So there are three alphabet like T. T is a task. So the machine have to perform a task, number one, and E is experience. So initially, machine doesn't have the enough experience. So machine will start learning to perform the task, and by the time it will gather experience, right?
Right, sir.
And we have another word called P, and the performance of machine will improve with the experience. Is it clear to everyone? So the thing here, the rules will be not given to the machine. The machine itself will extract the rules by doing, or it will learn by doing. Is it clear?
Clear, sir.
So that is basically the difference between AI and machine learning. So in artificial intelligence, machine perform the task, but the rules, the instructions are given by the experts. But for the machine learning, machine also perform the task, but the rules or the instructions are generated by the machine itself. So what we'll do here, we'll actually give a algorithm or we'll give a formula to machine so that the machine can learn itself. That's basically machine learning. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
And you can see in the last class, I also gave a definition, my own definition for machine learning. That is, machine learning is a process of extracting rules from big data for knowledge mining. So you see, whatever we do, actually, we try to find the rules. Say, for example, when actually you cross a road, what is the rules for crossing a road? You look at the right. So is there any vehicle is coming from the right side? Then you also look at the left. That is there any vehicle coming on the left side? So if you are happy that that means no vehicle are coming from both sides, then actually you cross the road, right?
Right, sir.
Even if you see one vehicle is coming from the right side, then what you do, you do a calculation, right? A mathematical calculation. So you try to measure the speed of the car or that vehicle and the distance. And if you think that the vehicle is far from you, and by the time you can actually cross the road, then actually you cross the road. if you think that, okay, if your calculation tells that the vehicle is very close to you and it will be very risky to cross the road now because there will be an accident or collision, so you actually don't cross the road, right? So everything is about rules. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right. So here in machine learning, what we'll do, we will actually give something to the machine so that the machine can take decisions, make rules by itself. That's basically machine learning. And that's basically the basic difference between artificial intelligence and machine learning. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we talk about why we need machine learning. Because nowadays we have a big data, the large, we need to do very complex computations or the calculations. Say, for example, if I give you two complex number and ask you to perform a mathematical operation between these two numbers, that will take a very long time. But for a calculator, it's a very easy task, right? Within a nanosecond, we will get the result. That's why actually we need machine, because the human, say, if you want to involve human labor, that is very expensive, right? Human are very expensive. But say, we have a, say, in our industry, actually what we do, we actually initially the humans actually humans were working in a industry, right? But nowadays you see humans actually replaced by the machine actually work in the industry. So if you look at the giant techs, so actually they use, or giant industries, they actually use robots or robotic hands or machines to perform tasks. Why? Because it's cheaper. So human is always expensive, number one. And about the precision, so if some task is performed by a human, then there is a chance to be there is a chance to get error, right? But for the machines, are you guys listening me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes,
Just
sir. We can
one
hear
or
you,
two
sir.
of you please respond. Right. Just say yes or make some sound so that I can I can understand that you are listening. So,
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
actually, there's raining in the background, so I thought it would be
so
making noise.
if you are making noise, then mute yourself. So it's not raining from every one of you, right? So some of you are not making noise. So it's
Right,
just
sir.
response my lecture so that I feel comfortable. Otherwise, it's difficult that I'm talking with myself. So what I'm saying, so if some task is performed by human,
Oh,
then there is a chance to have error. But for the machine, it's a zero error, right?
yes, sir.
Right. So it's, we cannot say the zero error. We can say that the machine gives us high precision, right? High accuracy. That's why there's another advantage of using machine. Okay. So that's why actually we need machine learning, and machine learning actually came from AI. So machine learning is the advanced field of artificial intelligence, right? Or the improvement of or advancement of AI, artificial intelligence. And is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Sir, would you
And
Yes, sir.
kindly zoom in the screen?
I already shared this document with you guys in LMS. So you open your PDF. So download the PDF from LMS. Okay. And
Okay, sir.
I'm not talking about, I'm just discussing about the previous class. That's why I'm not actually making the font larger. Is it clear to everyone?
Clear, sir.
We
Yes, sir.
already discussed this
Yes,
in the
sir.
last class, right? We're just reviewing the last class. So, so the machine learning is on the top of AI, and machine learning has another branch that's called deep learning. So deep learning is one of the hot cake nowadays. So with the deep learning, we can solve any kind of problems. Say for only for the supervised learning problem. So not deep learning is not for unsupervised learning problem. So we can actually so for the deep learning basically is an artificial neural network, and it has another two major branch like convolutional neural network and recurrent neural network, RNN. So in this course, basically we'll try to cover deep learning, like ANN, CNN, and RNN mostly. After that, if you have a time, then we can actually talk about few other things like clustering algorithms and other supervised learning algorithms, but mainly we'll focus on deep learning. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So deep learning basically a branch of machine learning. So deep learning, you cannot say that deep learning is the machine learning. It's a part of machine learning. Okay, and so data mining is another term, another subject as like machine learning. So data mining also the advanced form of artificial intelligence. So here actually the machine actually extract knowledge from data. So if you have a large amount of data, say for example big data, then sometimes it's really costly and really time consuming to extract knowledge from data. That's why actually we use machine to extract knowledge from data. Say for example business intelligence, market intelligence, say for example so you know the stock price or share or what will be the future of your business after 1 year. So this is called business intelligence or market intelligence or data mining techniques. So we also apply machine learning techniques for actually mining the data, for having knowledge from data. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
And big data is another area. So now you see the machine learning, data mining, these things actually, basically the machine learning actually perform tasks on data. Without data, machine learning cannot do anything. So there are two group of people. One is machine learning engineer, another one is a statisticians. So statistics. So the statisticians, they actually look for the problem. Say for, okay, what is the problem? So if you want any solution or any model from statisticians, they'll ask what is the problem. So they think about the problem first and then they generate the data and then they build a model. But machine learning engineers, they actually ask for the data. So give me the data, I'll give you the model. So that's the basic difference. So basically machine learning play with the data. That's why nowadays you know the big data. So volume, variety, and velocity. So big data itself a subject. So if you have a time, then we'll briefly take 1 or 2 class on big data. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right. Any questions up to now?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Okay, great. Then we talk about the types of machine learning. So still we are in the last class. We are reviewing the last class. So in this handbook, actually we mentioned 6 of them. So there are several kinds of learning types, but these 6 are really the major, or we can say the key learning types of machine learning. The first one is called supervised learning. So in supervised learning, what we do, in supervised learning, we have a data and data must be labeled. That means you should have the class column or decision column or the last column, whatever we say. So that, you know, when actually we talking about your attendance, the table, so you have a name, ID, and serial number and other columns, but there is the one columns like comments. We can say that if the student is attentive or regular, irregular, and average, so that's like a label data. And the last column is like a categorical column. You know, it's a categorical, right? Yes, no. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. So what I'm saying, are you guys listening me?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes,
What
sir.
I'm saying, when we have a label
Yes,
data and label is categorical. Categorical, that means yes, no, then true, false, then good, average, poor, anything like a string or categorical. Then we can say it's a classification problem. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So the supervised learning problem, there are 2 branches. One is called classification, another one is called regression. So for classification, where the class values or labels of output labels are categorical or nominal. Say for example, yes, no, in any categorical values. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir. The
Yes.
values are discrete.
Right. Discrete or categorical, right. So we'll see the examples later. If we have the label data and labels are numerical, continuous value or real number, then it will be a regression problem. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Say, for example, predicting your CGPA, predicting a house rent, predicting salary. So these are the regression problems. So the first problem or challenge in machine learning is called supervised learning. So in supervised learning, we must have a data, and data should be labeled. And based on the so in the data, we can say it's a X and Y. So X is a independent variable. So you see the input X, the capital X, which is the independent variable, and Y is basically a dependent variable. So what we have to do, we have to predict the Y. So that will be like this: Y equal to function of X. So we want to predict Y. So that is basically our mathematical function or model. So if the Y is categorical, then it will be a classification problem. If Y is numerical or continuous or real number, then it will be regression problem. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what is the purpose of this function f of x? So this function is basically the model or outcome. So it will actually predict the new data. Say, for example, based on a historical data, if you build a function or a mathematical model, that model, what it will do, it will predict the future data. Say, for example, we have last 50 years of weather data, and by analyzing all these last 50 years of historical weather data, we build a model, and now this model actually gives us the prediction that what will be the today's evening situation. It will be cloudy or rainy or sunny, or what will be the weather of tomorrow. It will be cloudy or sunny or rainy. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes,
So
sir.
that is basically called machine learning. So this is one of the application for prediction. Prediction about future. So decision making about future. So based on your historical result, so based on your academic result, you can actually build a model, and the model can tell us what will be your grade in this machine learning course. Or after graduation, what will be your CGPA? It's very easy to calculate, but what we are saying, that's a prediction. So this is machine learning algorithm, not the God, right? So say, for example, one student, he was not very attentive, he was not very good, but when he actually start doing this machine learning course, he actually fall in love to machine learning, and he got very good motivation, and he became very serious. So actually his previous result was very poor, but he actually did very good or do very good in this machine learning course. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So the prediction by the machine will be wrong. Machine will say, okay, this boy is not very serious, so he will not get a very good grade. But the situation changed. So that's why we can say it's a prediction, not like it will be happen. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right. Second learning type is called unsupervised learning. So in the unsupervised learning, we'll have the data. So for machine learning, we cannot do anything without data. So here we'll not have the label. So we'll only have the data. We'll only have the X. There is no Y here. You see, we have only X, Roman X here, but there is no Y. So we cannot actually build a function like Y equals to function of X. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So for unsupervised learning, it is also known as clustering. So in unsupervised learning or clustering, what we do, we basically find the patterns in the data, find the similarities among the data. So it's not like a predicting the label. It's like a finding the patterns. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
But one thing we can do, if we have unlabeled data, we can actually cluster that data. So clustering, basically, when after clustering we can we have the label, right? We can consider the clustering as a label. Then we can actually apply our classification techniques or regression techniques. That's called classification by clustering or supervised learning by unsupervised learning. So I have one paper about these topics like classification by clustering. So you can search in Google Scholar or even my publication list. So if you will into that paper is maybe published in by IEEE or Springer, you can download that paper from there. Otherwise, you can actually request me. I can send you the paper. Okay. So let me show you the paper. Like. Publications.
Sir, can you please tell me how did you level those data after clustering?
We consider the clustering as a level. So you should first read the paper. Did you read the paper? No.
Not yet, sir.
So before asking me the questions, you must read the paper first. This one, this book chapter. You see this one.
Okay, sir.
So just read this book chapter first, the classification by clustering. Then ask me the questions. Then it will be very easy for you to understand, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. And you guys are not expert now. You just started machine learning. So it will be very difficult for me if I start discussing about that paper. Okay. Is it clear to everyone? What is called clustering?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it's a grouping unlabeled data. That's it. Just grouping unlabeled data where we only have the inputs and there is no corresponding class values or the labels. Okay. And there is another learning problems in machine learning that is called semi-supervised learning. So in semi-supervised learning, we have both labeled and unlabeled data. So there's a one, the last one is the active learning problem. So active learning actually deals with the semi-supervised data. So some data are labeled and some data are unlabeled. So in active learning, the machine is learning, right? But it will take help from an expert so that the learning can be boosted up. Is it clear? Or the accuracy of the machine can be high. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So if you have a time, we also discuss about the active learning. So these are the very advanced topics. Active learning, transfer learning. Transfer learning is like we already have an existing model and we are using this existing model for another, to perform another task. So it's like we can use another model for our task, for our own. That's called transfer learning. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is a learning where actually an algorithm or an agent actually try to perform a task, but if it perform the task correctly or if it actually move toward the right direction, then actually we give award to the algorithm or the agent. Or if it actually doesn't perform the task well, or if doesn't take the right move, then actually we give some punishment to the model or reduce or deduct some points from that model or that algorithm. That's basically the reinforcement learning technique. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So this is basically the reinforcement diagram for reinforcement learning. Here basically an agent or algorithm try to perform a task in an environment. So if it's actually doing good or moving to the right direction, then actually you will have some points. Or if it's actually doing something wrong or it's moving toward the wrong direction, then actually it will lose some points. That's basically reinforcement learning. And for the reinforcement learning, what we need to have, we don't need to have data. We just need to have an environment. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So still we are reviewing the last class. So then the last topic was machine learning process. So in the last class we talk about the machine learning process, right? So in the machine learning, to perform a task, we have 6 steps. First one is data collection. So data collection is very important because without data, machine learning cannot do anything. Machine learning cannot extract any rules if we don't have the data. And in today's class, we'll talk about the data, that how many or what are the types of data we can use in machine learning. So for data collection, we need to have some questions like what data exists, what are the insights in the data, or what are the values in the data, what are the columns in the data, or what are the incidents, the instances in the data. So data is basically represented by two-dimensional table. So if you look at the table, in the table we have rows and columns, right? So you know the columns, and for columns we have the corresponding rows. So basically in machine learning, we normally work with a two-dimensional table or data. Normally the data is called flat file, or it's called comma separated value data. We'll see that. So this is our first thing, what actually exists in the data, and then where we can get the data. So we'll get data from a third party, or we'll collect the data from a repository, or we'll generate the data. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Onto, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
the
sir.
data collection is very important. Either we have to collect the data from a source, or we have to generate the data by our own. And then another question is like, data is structured data and unstructured data. So today we'll talk about what is structured data. Structured data means data is already organized in a table or in a database management system. So that is called structured data. Unstructured data means data is not structured in a table. Say for example, you can think about images, the pictures, right? So that's basically, so in a folder you actually keep, say for example, 10,000 images. So that is unstructured data. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Right. So after collecting data, the second step is called data preparation. Data preparation. So data preparation is basically the data preprocessing, or make the data ready for mining. Is it clear? So for the data
Yes.
preparation, we have 3 steps here. First one is called EDA, exploratory data analysis. So we need to clearly understand the data. It's really important. So we need to know what are the features, what are the columns in the data, and what does it means, and how many rows are there, what are the relation among the rows, what are the relation among the columns. So lot many things. Even exploratory data analysis means plotting figures from data. So there are lot many figures. There is a wonderful library in Python like Seaborn. So in the Seaborn, there are about 50 figures. So you can actually represent your data with 50 figures. That's called understanding or knowing data. That's called exploratory data analysis. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And the second steps in data preparation, that's called data preprocessing. So in data preprocessing, so there are a few steps. Say for example, when we collect the data from environment, when we have a raw data can be noisy. There can be a lot many inconsistencies in the data, contradiction in the data. So we have to remove this kind of noise, inconsistencies, or contradictions, so that our model can be more accurate. So this is called data preparation. So sorry, data preprocessing. So in data preprocessing, there are a few steps. We'll talk about this in today. So data cleaning, data integration, data discretization, data transformation. Okay, there are a few steps in data preprocessing. And then data splitting. So we have to split the data into 3 groups. One group is for training, another one is for validation, another one is for testing. And today we also talk about this in our class. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right. And then the third step is to build the model. So now the data is ready. We will build the model. That means we will actually apply the machine learning algorithms. So in this course, basically we'll focus on neural network. So we'll try to build neural network models on the data. And then the fourth step is to test the model. So test the model is like analyzing or evaluating the model, that how good the model is. So are you happy with the model, or you need to retrain the model? You need to actually improve the performance of the model. You are not happy with the model performance. Is it clear?
Yes.
Right.
Hello, sir.
And
I have a
yes,
question. So in data collection section, When
Yes.
we collect the data, how we structure the data?
So in the data collection, when you collect the data, how actually you structure the data, right?
Yes, sir. How?
Structure means table. So you need to decide the columns, and then you need to decide the column values.
So database management system we are using
Tell me, in the
to.
database management system, actually you are following a table. So,
Yes, sir. Yes,
right?
sir.
So what is basically database management system? So database management system actually store the data uh, in a managed way, and while actually uh, keeps the data in a table. So in the database management system, you have to create a table, create table name. You have to give a column names. You have to put the values for individual rows, right? Do you
So
get?
for collect so for structure the data, we need database management skill.
No, you don't need that. Database management system is a different subject. So you just collect the data. So in machine learning, normally we don't use database management system. We use simple flat file. Data is separated by comma. This is very simple. Is it clear? You
Okay, okay.
don't need to have a DBA knowledge. So this is a different area. Clear?
Okay, sir, understand.
Okay, good. So after testing the model, if we are happy, or if you are happy with the model performance, then actually you deploy the model. Deploy that means the you can now you can actually use that model in the real life, real time. Clear? For
Yes.
for performing a task or for decision making, right? So this is the deployment, and then retrain the model. So retrain, that means, say for example, if you build the model now, so what will be the model performance after 6 months or 6 years? So it's like after say after a certain time, we need to actually recheck the model performance, that the prediction by the model is still valid or not, like the performance of model is still good or not, right?
Right.
Is it right? So this is basically called the these 6 steps is called machine learning process, right?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Right. So any questions?
No, sir.
Any questions? No questions.
No, sir.
Okay. If there is no questions, then we can move forward, right?
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So now we start the class today. Is it okay to
Sure, sir.
everyone?
Okay, sir.
Right. So now we'll talk about
Yes, sir.
the types of classification problems. So classification is a one branch of supervised learning problem, right? Don't forget there is another type called regression. So in classification, the class values are categorical, but the x values can be anything. It can be categorical, it can be numeric. So x is an independent variable or feature. Okay, let me open a Word file. Okay, can you see the table?
Yes,
Say
sir.
for example, we have a table. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. You can see
Yes,
the
sir.
table.
Okay,
Yes.
we can say the first, this is the heading, right? This is heading, and this is the column name. We can say this is the column name. And let's see, we have a 3 column here. Capital X, capital X1, capital X2, capital X3. So these capital X are column, right?
Yes,
Is
sir.
it clear? And column means input features, variables, right? Parameters, whatever the things. So these values are independent. So these X1, X2, X3 are the column name, and they are not dependent with each other or anyone. So they are independent. So we say this is independent variable or independent input feature. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now we have y, small y. So y is our dependent variable, right?
Yes, sir. It's the
Yes,
level.
sir.
It's a label. Y is our label. So if in the table we have a y, that means it's a classification problem. It's a supervised learning problem, right? If we don't have y,
Right, sir.
that means it's a unsupervised learning problem, clustering problem. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So mainly in this course, we'll talk about supervised learning problem. That means we'll discuss about deep learning. It's a supervised learning problem. So we should have a y. And what we have to do, we have to actually build a function like y equals to f of x. What does it mean? This x,
Sir,
Sir.
X means features.
x means features, or we can say
Independent variables.
small x. X can be data. Okay. Say for example, just assume we have this table and we have only two values, x and y. X and y. So for each value of x, there is a value for y. Y. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Say for example, if we say uh, uh, if say for example, if the x is like say 1 lakh, right? 1 lakh taka, then we can say y is like he's a rich man, right?
Yes, sir.
Or we can
Sure,
say
sir.
high salary. ঠিক আছে? High salary. If it's like a 50,000, we can say it's a average salary.
Medium, sir.
It's a medium or average salary. If we have, say, for example, 10,000 taka, we can say it's a poor salary. So, here, 1 lakh, right? 1 lakh. So here, each value of x, we have y. So we have the range. So this is basically a classification problem. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
And here
Yes,
we
sir.
have only one independent variable and one dependent variable. So y is dependent variable, y depends on x. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Classification problem. So if we have this data like this, So x here is a categorical or anything numerical, whatever. X is the independent variable and y is the dependent variable, and y is numerical, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
then the problem will be regression problem. Regression problem. Regression. GRE, sorry. Regression problem. Is it clear to everyone? So
Yes, sir.
this is a very simple
sir.
example of one dependent variable and one independent variable. So x is independent variable, y is dependent variable, right? But in our real life, we may have not this type of simple examples. The data should be very complex, right? All data will be very complex. So now here you see we have how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 3 columns, right?
Yes, sir.
And here we can say y1. We have one y value. Then you can say here small x 1, small x 2, small x 3, then dot 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 small x n minus 1, and then this one x n. So these basically our number of instances, examples, right? Data points. So these are called instances. Instances. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
Yes, sir.
instance means these are row. So x1, x2, x3, these are row, and capital 1, capital X1, capital X2, capital X3, these are columns. And these are basically labels. Y basically label, right? So we can say here Y, Y1, sorry, Y1, 0. Okay. Or we can say 1, say for example, and then we can say 2. So if this is like this, like we have only 2 values, so y has only 2 values, 1 and 2, or 0 or 1, then we can say it's a binary class classification problem. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Binary
Yes.
means 2, 0 or 1. So for classification, if you look the types of classification, we have first we have a binary class classification problem. So neural network or deep learning really works very good for binary class classification. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what is called binary class classification? When the label has only 2 possible value, either yes or no, 0 or 1, or play will be or will not be, whatever. Any questions?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
So we can
in regression problem, so how to define a label? It is really
so
undefined.
label will be given by the what we can say, the given by the third party, or will the label will be assigned by the experts. বুঝতে পারছো?
Yes, sir.
সো যদি ক্লাসিফিকেশনের জন্য হয় তাহলে লেবেলটা কে দিবে? আমরা যে লেবেলটা বসাবো, লেবেলটা কে বসাবে?
Expert.
হ্যাঁ, এক্সপার্ট। সে ক্লাসিফিকেশনে যে বসাবে, রিগ্রেশনও সে বসাবে। মানে আমাদের মেশিন লার্নিং এর কাজ হচ্ছে ডাটা পাওয়ার পরের থেকে। এখন আমরা ডাটা পাবো, এখন ডাটা দেখে বুঝবো আচ্ছা এই ডাটাটা কি ক্লাসিফিকেশনের জন্য, না রিগ্রেশনের জন্য, না ক্লাস্টারিং এর জন্য। ঠিক আছে? ক্লিয়ার?
Yes, sir.
ওকে। সো ফার্স্টলি হচ্ছে আমাদের বাইনারি ক্লাস classification where we have the only two value, the class level value y will be y equals to will be 0 and 1. Is it clear? Y এর value হবে দুইটা মাত্র, either 0 or 1, true or false. So that is called binary class classification. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we have another part that's called multi-class classification. So in the multi-class MUL, multi-class classification. So in the multi-class classification, so the value of y will be more than 2. So value of y will be like, say for example, it can start from 0 or 1, or it can start from, if we start from 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then dot n minus 1 n. Is it clear to everyone? So for multi-class classification, the value of y will be more than 2, like good average 4, or like A, B, C, D, E. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we are talking about classification, not regression. So in the regression, so it will be the numeric value, not categorical, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then there is another type called multi-level. So multi-class, and this is called multi-level classification. So what is multi-level? MULTI, multi-level. BEL, level. Is it BEL? Right. Multi-level classification.
So for a given instance, we may have multiple class levels.
Right. Say for example, for output, we have a set of y. Say for example, for output equals to y. It's really difficult to take online class. It's a boring thing. Y1, Y2. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Right. Y3, comma, dot, comma, yn. So for multi-level classification, we have a number of y.
Sir, here will there be multiple columns under for the class levels?
Just a minute, Uncle, just a minute. Okay, so now you can see we have multiple level y1 and y2, and for y1 we have multiple values, and for y2 we have multiple values. So if the data set have more than one dependent variable, then it's called multi-level classification. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Then it's called multi-level
Yes, sir.
classification. This one is called multi-level classification. So if we have only one column, one dependent column, that will be the either that can be multiple classification or binary class classification or multi-class classification. Okay, so when it will be the binary class classification, when the value of y will be only two value within the two values 0 and 1 or yes or no. If it is a more than two value, then it will be the multi-class classification problem, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Right, sir.
Ontu, tell me your question now. Ontu.
Sir, after reading the data, for example, if we read a CSV data, we basically what we do is we divide the data to X and Y. For the we separate the class column. So since here's multiple columns are available for the class column, so will we be separating them by three variables, or will we be taking the data frame, that portion of the data frame, as a single y variable?
Okay, very interesting questions. So did you get this type of data?
No, sir,
Not
not yet.
yet, not yet, right. So in generally, we don't work with a multi-level classification. So multi-level classification, we'll talk about this. Multi-level classification is nothing else. It's either binary class classification or multi-class classification, right? So if you look very carefully, these x, y, and z, these 3x, right? We can say these 3x, these 3x is basically our independent
Feature.
variable. Independent feature, independent variable, right? And these two is our dependent variable, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, sir.
Okay, so what we have to do, we have to predict the value of y1 or y2, whatever, based on x1, x2, x3, these green columns, right?
Right, sir.
Right. So it's basically two separate problems. If you look like, if you divide this table into two tables, like one table is about, like say for example, I'm dividing this table into two tables. Here we have only now on to tell me what is this?
Okay, sir. Now
This
here
is
we have.
basically our what we can say, the simple classification problem, right?
Right, sir.
One, we can say that this is not a multi-level classification. This is called one-level classification, right? So
Right,
if
sir.
we have a multi-level classification, what we do, we divide the data set like this. And now we can say for this data you have x and y, and for this data you have x and y. So what we can do, we can say this is our, we can say sub data 1, and we can say this one is our sub data 2. Very good question by Yongtu. I really appreciate it. We can say with like ML, say lecture 2, right? Lecture 2. You save it in desktop. Is it clear to everyone? So for the classification problem, we have three kinds of scenario, right? We have three kinds of scenario, like binary class classification, multi-class classification, multi-level classification. So when the class value is between between two values, like 0 and 1 or true and false, it's called multi-class binary class classification. Just single minute, just a minute. Sorry, students. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you get the point? So we have binary class classification problem, we have multi-class classification problem, we have multi-level classification problem. So for binary class classification, we have the class level will be only 0 and 1, or it's a binary 2. Binary means 2. Multi means more than 2, right?
Yes,
0
sir.
to n. Multi-level means the level will be more than 1. So if we have this kind of scenario, level is more than 1, then what we can do, we can easily simply divide the original data into 2 subdata. So we can say this is our original data. Okay, this is our original data. Fine, it's fine. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? So you see, by doing this, we can solve the multi-level classification problem. We'll do it in the next class. I don't know we'll have the time for today or not, but let's see. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
is it so what do you think? Machine learning is difficult up to now? It's very simple,
Yes, sir.
Simple, sir.
right? And what about my lecture? Is my lecture is clear enough to understand?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is my English is very easy to understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any objection? Any complaint about my lecture and also English? So about the things that the topics we are talking about, you are not getting it, or you are not understanding the topic, or you are not understanding my English, right?
No problem, sir.
Okay,
It's all good,
then
sir.
we can carry on. So right, if you have any confusion, like say when we actually discussing any issues or any topics, if you feel okay, or if you have any doubt, just feel free to raise your voice. Okay, stop me. I will explain it in Bangla. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, great. Can we move to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
So there is no questions up to now,
Yes, sir.
right? You all are fine.
Yes, sir.
So you know
Yes,
what
sir.
is called machine learning, why we need machine learning, what are the process in machine learning,
Right,
what
sir.
is called, what is the types of machine, what is the learning types in machine learning, right? What are the types
Right.
of classification problem, right?
Right.
Right, sir.
One thing, the regression problem can be multi-level, right? We have a multiple numerical values, multiple levels, right? So
Right.
multi-level regression problem can be happen, right?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Okay. So one thing every time or in every class I'm telling you, like, fall in love with machine learning, then you will get really interesting. It's really wonderful subject, wonderful thing. Actually, it changed my life. I cannot think anything without machine learning. So machine learning is like it's like a blood of my body. Okay. So what is basically data mining? So is it clear? So now we'll talk about the data. So up to now we talk about machine learning, right? So if you look at the first step, we need to collect the data, right? So if you look at the machine learning process, there are 6 steps: collecting data, data preparation, then building model, testing model, then deploying model, retrain the model, right? There are 6 steps in machine learning process. Are you guys listening me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the first
Yes, sir.
step, the first 2 steps is very important: data collection and data preparation. So in data preparation, there are 3 steps. One is called data analysis, exploratory data analysis. The second one is called data preprocessing, and third one is called data splitting, right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
So what is basically the data mining? So data mining is the process. So data mining is also known as knowledge discovery in data. So you can see the next subsection. We will talk about data, information, knowledge, and this is really important. So what is basically data? Let me talk about data first. Data is basically the raw material. So what you can say, whatever the things we store in machine, in computer, that is basically data. You can store any kind of number, you can store any kind of alphabet, you can store any kind of text, you can store any kind of image, whatever we store, save in the machine, that's data. Are you guys agree with me or not?
Yes, sir, agree.
Okay, right. So
Yes, sir.
data is basically data. It is a collection of text, number, symbol, sound, picture, any recorded fact or in raw or unrecognized form that can processed by the computer or by a computer, right? That is the data. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Data can be collected from different sources. Data can be scientific data, medical data, demographic data, financial data, marketing data. We are surrounded by the data. Even every day we are generating data. We are searching in Google. We are uploading picture in our Facebook, right? So you are generating data. You are you purchasing something in online. You are making some banking transactions. These are so every moment actually we are generating data. Even if you have a smartphone and if you move from one place to another place, say for example you are going to Gulshan 2 from UIU, that means you are moving with your smartphone and Google is tracking you. So when actually we move from one place to another place, we also
Yes, sir.
generate data. Do you know that? Okay. So it is really important to have good quality data for machine learning research and modeling. So if your data is noisy, inconsistent, then if you build a model, the performance of the model will not be good.
Yes,
Clear?
sir.
Okay. So to have a good performance of model, we need to have a good data. So engendering data is a challenging and costly process. So if you want to build a data, engendering, that means generating data, building data, it's a really challenging and costly process, which is the most important part of all data analytics, data mining, and big data research. So say data analytics, data mining, big data research is all about playing with the data. So we need to have data. Any questions about data?
No, sir.
Okay.
What is information?
Then what is information?
Information is the
Information
process
is the
that
process data.
is mute
Please
yourself.
mute yourself. Information is the process
Say
data. Say for example, in UIU, you have a student database management systems. There, UIU actually keep record of each of the students, like how many credits you completed, how many trimesters you completed, what is your CGPA, what is the grade for a particular subject. So all these records are stored in the student management systems in UIU, right? Now, if we want to make a query, say for example, we have Ontu in the class. So if we guys like to know the CGP of Ontu, then we can make a query, right? In the database.
Yes, sir.
Right.
What is the CGP of the? So the CGP is not given in the database, but so the grade of each subject of Ontu is there, right, in the database. So if you make a query, then it will actually collect the result of each course that actually Ontu already finished, and it will, there is a mathematical formula for calculating CGPA. It will actually do that, and finally it will actually return the CGPA of Ontu to us, right?
Right.
That's basically called information. So information is a process data. Data is not information, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And what is then knowledge? Knowledge is a processed information. Is it clear?
Clear,
So,
sir.
processed data is called information. Processed information is called knowledge. Say, for example, can we predict now what Ontu will do after the graduation? There are a few options. Firstly, Ontu can be do research. Ontu can join academics as a lecturer or as a researcher, right? Ontu can go USA or Europe or Australia for higher study. Number one, right?
Right, sir.
Number two, Ontu can be join industry in Bangladesh. Like he doesn't like the research, so he can join industry as a programmer, as assistant programmer or assistant software developer, right?
Right, sir.
Number three, Ontu can join as a BCS officer. He can be joined Bangladesh Civil Service, right? After graduation, you see there are three options, and also Ontu can be like a businessman. So after graduation, he say, okay, I will not do research, I will not do coding, I will not do anything, I will do my own business. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Or there is another option, the last option. Ontu can actually manage a very rich girl and marry her and be a very rich man, nothing to do. Right? There are five options.
Right, sir.
এখন অন্তু কি করবে? Is it possible to tell now?
No, sir. We can
No, sir.
predict.
Right, we can predict. And how we will predict? আমরা predict
By
করব কিভাবে, বুঝতে
analyzing
পারছো?
Onto's past data.
By analyzing the information of অন্তু। তাহলে অন্তুর ডাটা আমাদের কাছে আছে যে অন্তু ক্লাস 5 এ কি রেজাল্ট করছে, ক্লাস 8 এ কি রেজাল্ট করছে, ক্লাস 10 এ মানে সে কি বলে তোমাদের এটা কি বলে, আমাদের তো মেট্রিক পরীক্ষা বলতো, হ্যাঁ এসএসসি বা এইচএসসি তে কি করছে, তার ইউআই রেজাল্ট কি, এই সব রেকর্ড কিন্তু আমাদের কাছে আসছে। তার মানে উই হ্যাভ অল দ্য ডাটা, এন্ড এই ডাটাগুলো থেকে আসলে আমরা কি করতে পারি, প্রসেস করে ইনফরমেশন পাই। ইনফরমেশন পাই কি বলো তো? কি ইনফরমেশন পাই যে ও তো ভালো ছাত্র না খারাপ ছাত্র, রাইট?
Sir, ভালো ছাত্র না খারাপ ছাত্র? জি, স্যার।
রাইট, ইনফরমেশন পাই। এখন যদি সে ভালো ছাত্র হয়, তার মানে তার অপশন এসে যাবে আমেরিকায় পিএইচডি করতে, রাইট?
জি, স্যার।
যদি সে ধরো খারাপ ছাত্র হয়, তাহলে সে চিন্তা করে একটা বড় লোকের মেয়ের পটায় পটায় বিয়ে করে ফেলি, আমার জীবন ঝকঝকা।
জি, স্যার।
ঠিক না? অন্তু তোমার এই প্ল্যান আছে?
স্যার ব্যাকআপ হিসাবে রাখতে হবে স্যার। আজকে
ব্যাকআপ হিসেবে
মাথায়
রাখতে পারো,
আসছে।
রাইট, ঠিক আছে। হ্যাঁ, এটা কিন্তু খারাপ না, বুঝছো? তোমাদের মধ্যে যারা মনে করো ইসে আসো, মানে কিছুই ভালো লাগে না, পড়াশোনা করতে ভালো লাগে না, কোনো কিছুই ভালো লাগে না, তাদের জন্য এটা ভেরি গুড অপশন। বুঝতে পারছো? তুমি যদি কোনোভাবে একটা রাজ্য সহ রাজকন্যা পেয়ে যাও, ইটস ফাইন, লাইফ উইল গো অন, ঠিক না?
জি,
জি
স্যার।
স্যার।
মানে কোনো সমস্যা নাই। মাঝে সাঝে তোমার ওই বউ বলবে এই শ্বশুর বাড়িতে থাকো ঘর জামা হিসেবে, লজ্জা করে না? দ্যাটস ইট। এক কান্দে ঢুকাবো, এক কান্দে বাইর করে দিবা। আল্লাহ তো দুইটা কান দিছে,
ইনশাআল্লাহ স্যার।
ঠিক আছে? আচ্ছা, কয়দিন আগে আমি একটা মুভি দেখছি, আমি পড়াতে পড়াতে টায়ার্ড হয়ে গেছি, এই জন্য একটু গল্প করি। তোমাদের তো আজকে মনে হয় ক্লাস টাইম শেষ হয়ে যাচ্ছে, আর 5-10 মিনিট আছে। তো কয়দিন আগে আমি একটা মুভি দেখছি, আমি প্রচন্ড মুভি দেখি, মানে এটা আসলে মানে গত 1 বছর ধরে কমছে আমি ফ্রান্স থেকে আসার পরে। মানে সেই রকম ধরো আমি 3 মাস লকডাউনে ছিলাম ফ্রান্সে, সেই সময় আমি 3 মাসে নেটফ্লিক্স শেষ করে ফেলছিলাম। নেটফ্লিক্সে তো ম্যাক্সিমাম সিরিজ থাকে, বুঝছো, লম্বা লম্বা সিরিজ, সব দেখে শেষ করে ফেলছিলাম। তো একটা মুভি দেখছিলাম, নায়িকা ছিল কারিনা কাপুর, আমার মনে আছে। নায়কটা ছোট, আমি ওর নাম জানি না। তো এখন নায়কের স্বপ্ন হচ্ছে ও তার মায়ের মতো হবে, বুঝতে পারছো?
জি, স্যার।
যেমন আমরা আমাদের সবাই মাকে পছন্দ করি না, মাকে তো অনেক ভালোবাসি, হ্যাঁ। তো এখন নায়কের স্বপ্ন হচ্ছে সে তার মায়ের মতো হবে। তো তার মা কি ছিল? মা ছিল গৃহিণী। মা সকালবেলা উঠে পরোটা বানাইতো, আলু ভাজি করতো, ডিম পোস্ট করতো, তারপর হচ্ছে তোমার দুপুরবেলা রান্না বান্না করতো, কাপড় চোপড় ধুইতো। তো ও বলতেছে যে ঠিক আছে তুমি একটা কাজ করো, আমি ঘর সামলে, তুমি গিয়ে চাকরি বাকরি করো। তখন নায়িকাটা বলতেছে ঠিক আছে তাহলে তুমি ঘর সামলাও, আমি চাকরি বাকরি করি। নায়িকা খুব বড় চাকরি একটা করে, আর ছেলে এই কাজ করে, and he feel very proud যে আমি আমার মার মতো হইতে পারছি। বুঝতে পারছো?
জি, স্যার।
ওকে, মেয়েরা কি শুনতেছো? মেয়ে আছে ক্লাসে?
স্যার ওইখানে তো স্যার ওই যে ইসে অর্জুন কাপুর থাকে মনে হয় নায়ক, স্যার কিয়ানকা মুভিটার টাইটেল স্যার।
হ্যাঁ ওইটাই বলতেছি। ওটা কি নায়ক কি কারিনা কাপুর না প্রিয়াঙ্কা? আমি তো ভুলে গেছি।
কারিনা কাপুরই ছিল স্যার।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে। মেয়েরা আসো, শুনতে পাচ্ছো?
জি স্যার।
হ্যাঁ, এইটা ছবিটা তোমাদের জন্য শিক্ষণীয় ছবি। তুমি যে মেয়ে হইছে বলে যে তুমি ই করবা, যে তোমরা যে খালি ওই হাড়ি পাতিল মাছবার রান্না করবা, দিস ইজ কমপ্লিটলি রং কনসেপ্ট নাওয়াডেজ। দেখো আমাদের প্রাইম মিনিস্টার উনি একজন মহিলা, আমাদের বিএনপি চেয়ারপারসন একজন মহিলা, আমাদের বিরোধী দলের চেয়ারপারসন মহিলা, আমাদের কি বলে তোমার হচ্ছে
স্পিকার মহিলা স্যার,
স্পিকার মহিলা, আমাদের এখন মহিলারা বিভিন্ন প্রতিষ্ঠানের হেড হচ্ছে,
এডুকেশন মিনিস্টারও মহিলা,
এডুকেশন মিনিস্টার মহিলা, আমাদের মহিলারা আজকে ফ্লাইট মিগ চালাচ্ছে, জানো, ফাইটার প্লেন চালাচ্ছে, যেটা আগে চালাইতো না। আমি কয়েকদিন আগে দেখলাম একটা মেয়ে ক্যাপ্টেন, সে প্যারাটুপার্স ইসের থেকে জাম্প করলো প্যারাসুট নিয়ে প্লেন থেকে, বাংলাদেশ আর্মির প্রথম মহিলা ক্যাপ্টেন। বুঝতে পারছো? সো মানে এখন তো ছেলে ওই জিনিসটাই হবে আর কয়দিন পরে, ছেলেরা ঘরে কাজ করবে আর মেয়েরা গিয়ে বাইরে চাকরি করবে, ঠিক আছে? সো গেট রেডি ফর দ্যাট।
জি স্যার।
আমি গত
We are
মাসে মেয়ের
ready.
বাবা হয়েছি, বুঝতে পারছো? আমি গত মাসে বাবা হয়েছি, তা আমার প্রথম কন্যা হয়েছে, কন্যা সন্তান। তো এটা হওয়া নাকি খুব লাকি। তা আমি দেখলাম সবাই বলে যে ভাই আপনার ভাগ্য খুব ভালো, আপনি তো কন্যা সন্তানের বাবা হয়েছেন, ভেরি গুড। বাট আমি দেখতেছি এটা আনলাকি। কেন? কারণ ধরো এই মেয়েটাকে আমি খুবই আদর করি, সে তো আমার কাছে একদম রাজকন্যা। তার তো যেমন কালকে রাতে সে ঘুমাইতে পারে না, কান্নাকাটি করছে, আমিও ঘুমাই নাই। হ্যাঁ, আমারও সে কানলে আমার মেজাজ গরম হয়ে যায়, কেন কান্দে? তো এখন দেখো এই মেয়েটাকে অনেক বড় টড়ো করবো, এক পর্যায়ে বিয়ে দিয়ে দিব, সে অন্যের ঘরে চলে যাবে, ঠিক না? তাহলে তো লাকি হইলাম না, আমি আনলাকি হয়ে গেলাম। বুঝতে পারছো?
জি স্যার।
মেয়েরা কি এগ্রি করো? আমার এই ক্লাসে কিছু মেয়েরা আছে, ওরা কিন্তু একদম চুপচাপ, আমি তো গল্প করতেছি রে ভাই।
জি স্যার, শুনতেছি।
হ্যাঁ, তোমরা একটা জিনিস ভুল করবা না। আচ্ছা আমি আজকে না পড়াই, আজকে একটু গল্প করে শেষ করে দিই, পড়াশোনা ফাঁকাফাঁকি একটু গল্প করার দরকার আছে। তো গল্পটা হচ্ছে এরকম, ধরো আমার মেয়ে কিন্তু আমার একদম কলিজার টুকরা, ঠিক আছে? তোমরা প্রত্যেকটা মেয়ে তোমার বাবার কাছে কিন্তু তার কলিজার টুকরা, একদম তার একদম রাজকন্যা। হ্যাঁ, বাবার কাছে তোমার প্রত্যেকে রাজকন্যা। কিন্তু দেখো কখনোই জীবনে এমন কোনো সিদ্ধান্ত নিবা না যে সিদ্ধান্তটা তোমার বাবাকে কষ্ট দেয়। যেমন ধরো তুমি হুট করে আরেকটা ছেলে হাত ধরে চলে গেল, বাবা মাকে না করে, যে বাবা মার পছন্দ না, প্রায়োরিটি না দিকে তুমি চলে গেলা। আমি গতকালকে রাত্রে একটা মজার ঘটনা বলি। আমি আর আমার কলিগ গতকালকে, বৃষ্টি হচ্ছে বিকালে, অনেক বৃষ্টি, আমি সাইকেল নিয়ে বেরোবো ভাবছিলাম, সাইকেল চালাবো, তো অনেক বৃষ্টি। আমার ছাত্র একটা আসলো, একটা আমাকে সাইকেল পাম্পার দিয়ে গেল। তো চলে যাওয়ার পরে বৃষ্টির মধ্যে আমরা বলছি চলেন চা খেয়ে আসি। তা আমি আর আমার সেই কলিগ দুজন ছাতি নিলাম বাজার থেকে, ছাতে নিয়ে আমরা বৃষ্টির মধ্যে হাঁটতে, আমাদের সামনে একটা টঙের দোকান আছে, সেখানে গেছি চা খাইতে। তখন প্রায় বাজে রাত 7:30 7টা এরকম। যাওয়ার পরে দেখি যে দুইটা ছেলে আর দুইটা মেয়ে ঝুম বৃষ্টিতে ভিজতেছে, ওদের কাছে কোনো ছাতি নাই, বেশ ভালো ঝুম বৃষ্টি হচ্ছে, এবং তারা বৃষ্টিতে ভিজে চা খাচ্ছে, ঠিক আছে? তো এখন দেখলাম যে আহ, ওই মেয়ে দুইটাও ভিজতেছে এবং চা খাচ্ছে। তোমরা কি শুনতে পাচ্ছ?
জি স্যার, শুনতে
জি
পাচ্ছি।
স্যার, শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
তো এখন বৃষ্টির ভিজার মানে বৃষ্টির চাটা নাকি খুব মজা, তোমরা খেয়ে দেখতে পারো। চা নিয়ে বৃষ্টির মধ্যে চলে যাবা, বৃষ্টির পানি চায়ের মধ্যে পড়বে, আর চার একটু চিনি বেশি দিবা, তাহলে শরবত শরবত মনে হবে। তো তারা খাচ্ছে, দুইটা ছেলে আর দুইটা মেয়ে। তো এখন ছেলেটা কাক ভিজা এবং মেয়ে দুইটাও কাক ভিজা। এখন মেয়েরা যদি ভিজে যায় তাহলে তাদের কিন্তু সব ভিতরে সবকিছু দেখা যায়, তাদের দেখতে খারাপ লাগে। কিন্তু সেই দুইটা মেয়ে নিরজ্জ বেহায়ের মতো হি হি করে হাসতেছে, আর খুবই মানে একটা ভাব, ছেলে দুটোও ভাব। আমি একটু যখন কাছে গেলাম, তখন আমার ওই কলিগ বললো, স্যার এই দুইটা কিন্তু ইউআইইউ স্টুডেন্ট, দেখেন ভালো করে তাকাইয়া। তখন আমি দেখলাম যে আমার দুই ছাত্র দাঁড়া দাঁড়া চা খাচ্ছে, দুই সুন্দরী রমণীকে নিয়ে। তা আমার মনে খুব ভালো লাগছে জিনিসটা, যে ইউনিভার্সিটিতে তারা আসছে, তারা তো এরকম চা খাবে বা একটু বৃষ্টিতে ভিজবে, এটা ঠিক আছে, খুব ভালো লাগছে আমার জিনিসটা। বুঝতে পারছো?
জি স্যার, তারা কিছু প্রোডাক্টিভ কিছু
মানে
করতেছে।
তারা একটা ইউনিভার্সিটি এসে যদি কেউ এরকম দুষ্টামি না করে তাহলে তো হবে না। কিন্তু আমার কষ্ট লাগছে ওই মেয়ে দুটার জন্য। আমি চিন্তা করছি আমার মেয়ে যদি বড় হয়ে এই কাজটা করে তাহলে আমি কি করব, বা ওই মেয়ে দুটা চিন্তা করে নাই যে আমি যে কাজটা করতেছি এই কাজটা কিন্তু আমি আমার ফ্যামিলিকে ছোট করতেছি, ঠিক না? দেখো রাত বাজে 7:30, মেয়ে দুইটা ওই ছেলে দুইটার সাথে ওখানে বৃষ্টিতে ভিজে ভিজে চা খাচ্ছে। ছেলে দুটো ঠিক আছে, কিন্তু মেয়ে দুইটা তো ঠিক করে নাই। মেয়ে দুইটা কিন্তু আসলে দে শুড বি মোর স্মার্ট, না? আর এই মেয়ে দুইটা তো, আমি জানি না, মেয়ে দুইটা যদি আমার ইউআর কম্পিটিশনের ছাত্রী হয় তাহলে তোমার তো ইউআর ছেলের সাথে প্রেম টেম না করে প্রেম করা উচিত বুয়েটে পাস করা ছেলেদের সাথে, ঠিক না?
জি
মানে তোমরা যদি কম্পিউটার সায়েন্স এখানে পড়ো তাহলে তোমাদের টার্গেট থাকবে কি, বুয়েটের থেকে পাস করছে অথবা সে আমেরিকায় পিএইচডি করে বা নাসার ইঞ্জিনিয়ার বা গুগলের ইঞ্জিনিয়ার, এরকম প্রেম করতে হবে। তো মেয়ে দুটোর জন্য না আমার খুব কষ্ট লাগছে, বাট ছেলে দুটোর জন্য আমার ভালোই লাগছে, যে ঠিক আছে দে আর ডুইং সামথিং গুড, ঠিক আছে? বাট যারা মেয়েদের কিন্তু অনেক রেস্ট্রিকশন আছে, তোমরা বাবার এই জিনিসগুলো চিন্তা করবা, ঠিক আছে? মাঝে সাঝে বাবা মার কথা চিন্তা করবা, যে আমার বাবা মা আমাকে কত যত্ন করে বড় করছে, ঠিক আছে?
জি স্যার।
হ্যাঁ,
জি
আর
স্যার।
দেখো এই যে রাত্রেবেলা এই বৃষ্টির মধ্যে দাঁড়ায় যে চা খাওয়া, এটা তো লুকিং ভেরি অড। ঠিক আছে, যেমন ধরো অনেক, আমি জানি যে মানে আমি তো এখন ইউনিভার্সিটির সামনে থাকি, বাট আমি আগে বসুন্ধরাতে থাকতাম, মানে পান্থপথে থাকতাম, তো সেখানে দেখতাম পান্থপথে বসুন্ধরা সিটিতে অনেক মেয়েরা ওই যে একদম টাইট কিছু জামা কাপড় পরে রিক্সা দিয়ে নামতেছে। তো তাদেরকে না সব রিক্সাওয়ালা তাকায় দেখতেছে, দোকানদাররা তাকায় দেখতেছে। বাট তোমাকে বুঝতে হবে যে হোয়াট ইজ দ্য সিচুয়েশন ইন আওয়ার কান্ট্রি। তোমার পোশাক আশাকে কিন্তু একটা মার্জিত ভদ্রতা একটা থাকতে হবে, ছোঁয়া থাকতে হবে, ঠিক আছে?
জি
আমি এই
স্যার।
কথাগুলো কেন তোমাদেরকে বললাম, যেহেতু আমি মেয়ের বাবা হয়েছি, সেই জন্য তোমাদেরকে আমি মেয়ের মতো করেই বললাম যে বাবারা সবসময় নিজেদেরকে একটু মার্জিত ভদ্রভাবে রাখবা। তো তোমরা কেউ প্রেডিক্ট করতে পারো আমার মেয়ে বড় হলে কি হবে, আমি সেটা কি প্ল্যান করছি?
স্যার ইনফরমেশন লাগবে।
উইদাউট ইনফরমেশন একটা প্রেডিক্ট করো না কি হয়।
স্যার ডক্টর।
হ্যাঁ, মেয়ে হলে ডাক্তার তো এটা ভালোই, 3 ইডিয়টস এর কথা, ছেলে হলে ইঞ্জিনিয়ার, মেয়ে হলে ডাক্তার। তা আমার
স্যার ইংলিশ
আমার মেয়ের জন্য
ইঞ্জিনিয়ার।
আমি
স্যার আপনি কি
আমার
চিন্তা
মেয়ের জন্য
করতেছেন
আমি
যে
চিন্তা করছি,
মাদ্রাসায় পড়াবেন নাকি স্যার?
না সেটা কখনোই চিন্তা করতেছি না, ওইরকম তো আমি না, ওইরকম ক্লাস তো আমি না।
স্যার
তা
আমার
আমার
আমার এক আঙ্কেল আছে আর কি, উনি এখনোই চিন্তা করতেছে যে তার মেয়েকে সে মাদ্রাসা ছাড়া অন্য কোথাও
না, আমি
পড়াবেন।
তাকে কোরআন শরীফ পড়ানোর শিক্ষা দিব, বাট এই মাদ্রাসায় পড়ে হুজুর বানাবো না। আমার স্বপ্ন হচ্ছে আমার মেয়ে মিগ চালাবে, ফাইট। আমি প্রায় দেখি আমার মাথার উপর দিয়ে প্লেন যায়, আমি ওই যে ইউআর ক্যাম্পাসের পাশে থাকি, তো বিমান বাহিনীর ইগুলা হয়। তো আমি, আমার খুবই স্বপ্ন ছিল আর্মিতে যাওয়ার, বুঝছো? আমি প্রথমে বিমান বাহিনীর জন্য পরীক্ষা দিয়েছিলাম, হয় নাই, পরে আর্মি থেকে তো বাইর করে দিচ্ছে। তো আমার স্বপ্ন হচ্ছে আমার মেয়ে এয়ারফোর্সের পাইলট হবে, দ্যাটস দ্য ফার্স্ট অপশন। যদি সে না হয়, কারণ ওইটার লাইফটা খুব মজা, তাকে ফিজিক্যালি ফিট হইতে হবে এবং তাকে ইন্টেলিজেন্ট হইতে হবে। দ্য সেকেন্ড অপশন হচ্ছে না হলে সে আসলে আমার মতো যে একাডেমিক হবে, ডক্টর, তার নাম হবে প্রফেসর ডক্টর ফারলিন ফরিদ। ঠিক আছে বাবারা?
জি স্যার।
জি স্যার।
আচ্ছা, আমি তাহলে আমার স্টক রেকর্ডিং শেষ করি। আজকে অনেকক্ষণ গল্প করছি, ক্লাসের ফাঁকে ফাঁকে মাঝখানে গল্প করতে হয়।